Let's swatch all of my Colourpop Super Shock eyeshadows. These are so affordable and they do have sales quite a bit often. They have a couple of different finishes within the Super Shock. Some of these are more sparkly than others and some of these are also pretty similar. So I just wanted to do a little video just swatching all of them for your reference. I'm going to show them to you in this diffused lighting as well as in bright direct lighting because that's usually when you can really see the sparkle. Here is Frog. This one is like a slightly light pinky leaning beige with quite a few different like brighter pink and silver flecks throughout it. Definitely on the sheer side. For the most part, these are pretty sheer topper-like shades. Next is Ladybird, and this one is slightly darker over beige, and it looks for sure a little bit more peachy than pink like the previous one, and it's quite sparkly. And I forgot to mention Frog is considered Ultra Glitter Super Shock, and Ladybird is also considered Ultra Glitter. They do have that Super Shock feel. So they are pretty creamy. And so here they are together. The shade is Sailor, and this is also an Ultra Glitter formulation within the Super Shock. I do feel like it looks less sparkly and a little bit less textured in the pan than the previous two shades. And this one is a warm brown with a green flash, so definitely more like a duochrome. You can really see the green flashing here. This one feels a little bit drier to the touch, probably because it might have dried out a bit more than the other two shades, but you can really see that even just sparkle level wise, it's not the same, even though it's considered the same subsection of the formula, so that's interesting. The flash of green is not very obvious, and it looks actually a little bit more blue now that I've swatched it. Next shade is Ritz, and this one is a legendary shade, also an Ultra Glitter. And this one is so beautiful, sparkly. I think this one is the dupe to the Urban Decay Moondas Shadow. And I forget the shade name right now off the top of my head. I will put up on the screen. And this one is like a darker version of the previous shade. And this one has a silvery flash. This one definitely has a bit more opacity to it. Really warm toned brown, and the sparkles kind of sit apart from the pigment there. Next shade is 2014. I'm not sure how many of these are still available, but I think Ritz for sure and Ladybird and Frog I think are one of their staple shades. And this one is also considered an Ultra Glitter. And this one is like a champagne, really beautiful, maybe rose gold leaning a little bit kind of shade. This one also feels like drier, so this one must have dried out a little bit. It feels more similar to this shade that I had swatched, where it's not the same texture as these three Ultra Glitters, which is really interesting. And just in the pan, they look different. And yeah, this one, it's definitely more of like a satin. The sparkles are just not as many. They're a little bit more dispersed throughout. Next shade is Ultra Quirky, and this one is also an Ultra Glitter. And this one is definitely looking on par with some of the more sparkly shades, so on par with the description. And this is a really beautiful chocolatey, warm toned brown, and definitely a bit more opaque as well, which you'll see in a swatch. Such a stunning shade. Really great one and done shades all of these are. Will Turn is also an Ultra Glitter, but it does look smoother in the pan compared to some of the other Ultra Glitters. And this one is also like a champagne, but like a lighter champagne, like a true warmer tone leaning. A little bit of gold in there. This one feels also drier to the touch for me, so a little bit more satin-like. I don't really see too many flecks kind of sitting on top there as with the shade above it, and these other three shades especially. Here's Mighty Morphin. This is a little bit more like a Prosecco. It has just a little bit of a pinkiness to it, especially kind of flashing this way, but I do see very pale gold base in there, and this one looks very sparkly in the pan. Very sheer, but I can see a tonal difference between this one and the other extra sparkly shades that I had already swatched. Definitely more on like a yellow, pale yellow gold, but ultra sheer. Next shade is Ice Dream, also an Ultra Glitter, and this is an iridescent blue flashing to purple shifting duochrome shade. Looks like it's very sparkly, and this one's probably going to stand out the most out of all of these. Yep, I can see the purple and blue kind of dispersed throughout and mixed together once it's swatched out. So pretty. These next four shades have different packaging on them. I believe they were part of like a specific collection, but I think they're actually permanent shades that were just put into a different color compact, because this is the shade I just swatched, Ice Dream, so it has just like a different compact, but it looks exactly the same, so I'm not going to re-swatch that one. But these next 3 shades, I believe, I'm going to check if these are available or not. But starting off with Flower Child, this one is ultra metallic, and this is like a really beautiful peachy yellow gold, very kind of pale, definitely ultra metallic, has quite a bit of shine to it. It has a bit more shine to it than, like, for example, this one and this one. Pretty much comes off as a champagne. This shade is the Griffith, and it is ultra metallic shade, and I'm out of space on my arm, so I'm just going to swatch it on the back of my hand. It doesn't have any really too many flecks throughout it. It looks like a really just nice, quite opaque, super smooth metallic shade. This is a DGAF, and this is considered an ultra glitter. I don't think I really agree with that, especially after swatching some of these ultra glittery shades. This one seems more of like a opaque kind of satin like shade. I'm not really sure why they're categorizing some of these under ultra glitter when they don't seem to have the same punchiness as the shades that do seem like that they are ultra glitter. And you can see this one has just a little bit of gold flash of sparkle on there and a really beautiful reddish brown base to it. I feel like this one might actually stain, and it's spread a little bit like thicker feeling. And here it is with bright lighting. You can really see the sparkle, especially with some of the shades getting really brought out, specifically with these 2 ultra glitters up here. Really brings out the extra sparkle and glisten in there. I don't feel like it's really as noticeable in these. There's just a little bit of that reflection off the hard light, but not in the same way as these. So those are all the Super Shock swatches. I think these are some beautiful, cheaper alternatives for sure to some really sparkly neutral shades you might find from Urban Decay, for example. I think these come at a great cost. I think some of them are a little bit creamier than others, just generally speaking, even if they are new. And I definitely would be careful if you have hooded oily lids on making sure you use the right eyeshadow primer. Definitely would not recommend using concealer as eyeshadow primer, because that will really not help with longevity. And just really making sure you use only a little bit and you kind of really spread it. But a bunch of these are definitely more topper-like, so you can just kind of top them over, tap them on, and get a wash of that sparkle, which is really nice, especially at the price of these. So let me know in the comments below which shade of Super Shock is your favorite. I would love to hear your thoughts, and that's everything with this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.